Okay, so I told you the other day that I boogered up my tiller, and I'm still not sure what happened. I know the result of it. You'll see the result in just a second, but I don't know exactly why it did it. So what you're looking at now is the top of the tiller. I've got it laid down. That is the back flap that hangs down and the dirt hits. This is the 3-point hitch and everything, so it's laying on its kind of on its front. That's the way it should look when it is tilling, like that. Okay, this is the bottom. That is the bottom of the tiller. That's the top of the tiller. That is the chain cover. And what happened, something came loose inside there to where it ripped a hole in that chain cover about 1 inch wide. That right there. I'm not supposed to be able to stick my finger up in there. So, I don't know what happened. But I know it's got to be fixed if I am to use this tiller again, or sell it, or anything else. No good, it's a big anchor right now, big paperweight. And I don't have that much paper. So, I'm going to start taking all these bolts off. I've priced the cover for a Sigma tiller made in Italy. Bought it from my neighbor years ago. I priced the cover and I priced the gasket. And I told him I don't know what else I'm going to need, and I don't know how long it'll take to get here. If it takes a long time to get here, I may just try to fabricate something and weld a patch on that. I'm not sure. You know, if it's going to take weeks or something like that. It's about $100 for the cover, a little over, and you know, $20 or $30 for the gasket. So, oh me. Let's get in there and see what happened. I've got it sitting on a couple of sawhorses. It weighs about 400 pounds or more, so I hope those sawhorses are up to the task. And if I hear some creaking and groaning and cracking, I'm trying to move out of the way as quick as I can. Of course, it's got nuts on the backside, which makes it twice as hard to do. There's a bolt right there that this mass of metal is preventing me from getting to, so I can't tear it up any worse than it already is, so I'll just cut that off. Last bolt. Change batteries. And I've got 3 batteries. There's no sense in the world that I should have to change batteries. Bring another one over here, idiot. Alright. Alright, it should be free unless I missed one. Now the funny thing is, not funny haha, but mildly amusing, is that I've had this cover off before. I couldn't, I made some gasket material for it. I didn't have the parts list or anything like that, so I made the gasket for it out of some probably cork gasket, and poked it up real good with some sealer, because when I bought it, I borrowed it from my neighbor, I used it, liked it, and I think maybe the next year he said he was going to sell it, so I went ahead and bought it from him, and then I took it home, and with that day, I think, broke the crap out of it. What I did was back up. The shroud here was hanging down too far. I wanted it to hang down so it would grade the dirt off, you know, after it's tilled. And I had it down too far, and the tines are forward, so they came up and grabbed a hold of that, and you can see it's bent because I never got that thing straightened out. I had to add a piece on it. It was really bent, and I had to add a piece on it, weld a piece up on it, just to because I had to cut off quite a bit. Anyway, I've had it apart, so I have been in here before. I don't think what happened this time is the result of something I did in the past, but anyway, we'll see. Let's take the cover off. Let's see if we have to pry it or if it's just going to come off. Oh, it's just going to come off. Okay, I lost my idler. Apparently. Or my tensioner. That's going to be what keeps the chain tight. And it broke that spring. And then something obviously came loose. I guess maybe this got up in, the chain got loose. I don't know. I mean, the way it's cut, it looks like to me the chain got loose and just wore a hole in it. Just, you know, just wore that chain-sized hole out in it. But the chain sure doesn't seem loose enough to have done that. Let's see. But actually, I'm not up on this. It's going to be real loose when I'm not in that cog right there with the chain. So let me tap that down in there. Then it's really going to be loose. Well, what looks like happened, the spring broke, and it allowed this tensioner. Tensioner sits like this and keeps that tight, and the spring sits right here and keeps that tensioner up like that. And the spring broke, tensioner came down, chain got loose, and just tore a hole in the bottom of that pan, of that chain chain cover. Just tore it up. It is a chain size groove in it. I ran it, I don't know how long I ran it before it, without oil in it. I don't know, it's still greasy, still oily. So I need a spring. Because this tensioner has does have a groove cut in it right there. Go ahead and get the tensioner if it's not too expensive. The spring and whatever else is needed. I think the spring just sits in here. There's a little groove right there on that post that the tensioner sits in. There's a little groove in it right there. And I think it just sits in there like that. And the other side of the spring that's broke off throws it up there like that, keeps it tight. So, spring, tensioner, cover, gasket. That's what I'm gonna need.